So I just want to do a little news report of a recent tragic event because as a geek and someone who plays video games and is into the geek stuff and who lives in Indonesia, I think it's very much appropriate for all of us to recognize that sometimes our hobby has a particular limit being set into them. Or at least we need to recognize that we're human beings too when video games aren't all of our lives. So just in case you don't know, in 9th of August, a would-be university student in my country died when he's playing video games. At the moment, the cause of death is still unknown. You can definitely speculate to your own, but my mother said to me that it's arrhythmia, which is basically an abnormal heart rate. And according to my mom, it's thanks to the influence of accumulative magnetic pulses being delivered by the computer monitor. Can someone actually confirm this? I'm so goddamn confused. Now, I've seen similar cases happen like this where people die when they're playing video games, but here's one thing that you need to understand about video games. Video games are objects. You can literally replace video games with other hobbies like cars, skateboarding, surfing. I don't get when it's people constantly getting into car crashes. Nobody goes out to ban cars because millions of people use cars on a daily basis. But when it's video games, people go out to try to ban them, even though millions of people play video games on a daily basis. So let's get into some of these deaths that are apparently caused by these evil, monstrous video games, because maybe it really is video games that are causing these deaths. There's a handy article, 12 bizarre deaths that video games caused. Let's get to one by one, and all the respective sources are in the description as always. This is gonna be a bleak video, isn't it? The first one is a really odd case where a South Korean couple starved a child while raising virtual baby, which is just the weirdest news that I've ever read in my entire life. The couple is raising a virtual girl character in Prize Online, and the parents just feed their daughter in a 12-hour day-to-day basis. Even as someone who doesn't have a baby, I find that completely fucking moronic. Feed your baby, for God's sake. Jesus Christ. That and the fact that this couple doesn't have any job and the baby is premature. So they decided to say, fuck this stupid world and just let the baby die. Just, wow. What an amazing parent. The fact that these two get a chance to fuck and I don't is fucking unfair.
Oh, there you go again, whining about how you're still being a virgin.
Yeah, sorry, that won't happen again. Jesus Christ. It was a joke anyway. The second one is a Chinese online gamer who dies after 3-day session straight play, which just screams moron. Like, I know that there are gamers who play games in a straight session, but 3 days with minimal food? Come on. Like, I'm not the type of person who eats much, but even then, you need to, like, I don't know, eat basic human needs? Hello? I might be under the belief that these people are not even human. The next article is Ohio teenager Daniel Patric killed mother over Halo 3 video game. First of all, before we go and blame the horrendous spawn of Satan that is Halo 3, let's take a look at the evidence, shall we?
Patrick may have been addicted, but the evidence also showed he planned the crime for weeks, Judge Birch said.
This kid fucking plans to take his own parents down. If that doesn't scream bad parenting, mental health issues, or just being unhinged in general, I don't know what isn't. These are all horrible tragedies, but jumping into the conclusion that these people die because of video games is a tad bit unrealistic. And jumping into the presumption that everybody who plays video games will act like this kid is also a tad bit unrealistic. The people who are involved in these incidents are already deranged in some ways, or just a failure in human beings in general, or maybe already unhealthy to begin with. Here's another article that screams anti-game propaganda, especially when they cite Jack Thompson of all people. Can video games lead to murder? There was a murder of 3 men occurring in the small town of Fayette, Alaska? They were gunned down by 18-year-old Devin Moore, who has played Grand Theft Auto day and night for months. First of all, I have to bring up that violence in video game chart multiple times throughout my videos again and again. The rise of video game sales happened at the same time where youth violence have gone down. Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the best-selling video games of all time, where YouTubers and Twitch streamers are playing said game, including my 12-year-old cousin, who beaten the game twice. So is this really caused by video games, or just bad parenting in general? Are you gonna shift the blame again? Next article. Korean drops dead after 50-hour gaming marathon. Again, this doesn't scream, oh my god, video games are so evil they take people's lives. This screams, this person is a moron. That or this person is weak. I don't know how long hardcore gamer marathons are games. Like, what is your longest gaming marathon, guys? I really want to know.
South Korean newspapers reported that Lee had recently been fired from his job because he spent too much time playing video games.
How ironic that this came right after I talked about an article that says that video games cause unemployment, and I'm actually quite surprised that they didn't cite this incident, even though this incident was pretty freaking famous. He downright admitted that he got fired from his job because he spent too much time playing computer games, like, or maybe this news just distorted the facts. I don't know, speculate whatever you want. Mother Alexandra v. Tobia shakes baby for interrupting Farmville, pleads guilty to murder. Wow. I mean, wow.
On Wednesday, Alexandra v. Tobias pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for shaking her baby to death. At the time of her arrest in January, 22-year-old Tobias told police that she was playing Farmville on Facebook and got angry when the 3-month-old Dylan Lee Edmondson began to cry.
So, nope. It's totally the video games that caused it, and not the fact that this woman is a deranged and unhinged parent who cannot even properly take care of their child. Those goddamn video. Slain Lauderhill woman's boyfriend tells police he sacrificed her. The fuck?
Darius Johnson, 22, stabbed Monica Gooden, 20, multiple times early Sunday at their residence. Gooden, who didn't have defensive wounds on her hands, have been stabbed multiple times in the back, chin, neck, and stomach at approximately 6 a.m. Sunday. A broken and bloody Xbox 360 gaming system was found near her body, along with 3 knives, police said. Johnson told police the victim had control over his spirit and that the couple had fought over his wanting a relative to live with them, the affidavit states.
Conclusion, insane and crazy. Even without video games, this person is already mentally deranged. Next. Xbox addict Chris Staniford killed by blood clot after marathon gaming session in England. This is a very famous case that is featured in 1000 Ways to Die, if I recall correctly, and this is the one that has actual forensics evidence.
An autopsy revealed that Chris Staniford, 20, suffered from deep vein thrombosis, which can be triggered by sitting in one position for long periods of time. A coroner said his death in May was caused by a clot forming in the young man's left calf before it moved to his lungs. Once it reached there, it caused a fatal blockage.
So, unhealthy lifestyle. There you go. Just a piece of advice to pretty much everyone living on planet Earth. Don't sit your ass all day and get a move on, or else you'll end up like this poor guy here. 3 DJs fired after deadly water drinking contest. California woman competing for Nintendo Wii died of water intoxication. What the hell?
A radio station fired 10 employees, including its 3 morning disc jockeys, after a woman died following an on-air water drinking contest last week. The host of KDND-FM's Morning Rave were fired Tuesday, a day after the station said it was suspending the show and investigating the death of Jennifer Lee Strange. Strange, 28, was one of about 18 contestants who tried to win a Nintendo Wii gaming console by seeing how much water they could drink without going into the bathroom. The show's DJs called the contest Hold Your Wii for a Week.
Someone just died for a god-awful pun in a god-awful contest for a god-awful idea. What a waste of human life, Jesus Christ. The next article is something that happens in the 80s, but let's read it anyway. Peter Burkowski here died, and he died playing video games, and it's thanks to heart attack. I love the comment from the deputy coroner, Mark Allen. We certainly don't want to be scare people away from video games. Peter could have died in a number of stressful situations. We once had a boy who had heart attack while studying for an exam. It just happened that he died in front of a video game, but it's also quite interesting. When people in the 80s recognize the problem than people in the new millennium, you know that you have a problem. Also, I really want to happen to that kid that dies of heart attack while studying for an exam, because I would push some agenda with that. The next article is also quite interesting. After playing 36 consecutive hours of Warcraft, a 13-year-old boy jumped from the 24th floor of a building and committed suicide while assuming a standard sky-flying pose.
The child's name is Zhang Xiaoyi. He played video games non-stop for 36 hours and then he flew towards the ocean in the southeastern direction in search of his adored heroes in the video games. After visiting the home of Zhang Xiaoyi for 13 times, a scholar and researcher Zhang Chunliang finally located the father Zhang Jianhua and his wife. The mother seemed to be mentally confused. She keeps saying to herself, "The child is not dead. He has only gone to play games at the internet bar. When he gets tired, he will return home."
If that doesn't scream bad parenting, I don't know what isn't. This is a long one, and it's a nice read if you want to get through a journey of a scholar trying so desperately to sue Blizzard to find answer to the horrendous incident of people playing games in China. And considering that it's China we're talking here, it's absolutely not surprising. The final one is game theft led to fatal attack. A Chinese man has been stabbed to death in a row over a virtual sword in online game Legends of Mirror 3, says reports. Here's an interesting thing. Replace virtual sword in online game with, say, money or a ring or even more precious items. I bet your ass it will not be blamed to them. It will be blamed to this moron being an unhinged lunatic who stabs another human being for something that he wants. It can be literally anything. So with all of those cases being read to you, let's get back to the first case. Is this really caused by video games? I don't think so. This person who died just happens to play video games. As someone who plays video games, this person probably has suffered through some form of an unhealthy lifestyle, or probably has a history of health conditions, or maybe he doesn't even eat. We don't know. We cannot know until we can find further details on the autopsies, which are not given to us as of yet, but I'll get you guys updated in the comments if I find any updates on the news, or maybe if you are updated on the news. In conclusion, video games do not kill. Being a moron kills. Being unhealthy kills. Bad parenting kills. Being mentally unhinged kills. If you're gonna blame it on video games, this goes to show you how our parents these days are just simply unable to take an inch of responsibility. So future parents out there, please, for the love of God, take good care of your child. Be responsible for them. And don't play too much games. I'm a gamer, but I'm also a human being. I know my limits. I hope you know yours. Just a warning, okay? Please. That's all for the video today. If you like this, you can go ahead and click the like button and subscribe for more. If you wish, you can support me on Patreon, and thanks for watching.